Hey friends, no one wants to be stressed on Thanksgiving, so today we're making 5 low-stress Thanksgiving recipes with 15 minutes of prep or less that require no extra tools or hard-to-find ingredients. And be sure to stay tuned until the end to find out about the free PDF guide and for all the taste tests.
That's definitely my favorite thing on the plate, not gonna lie.
The first recipe that we're making, cornbread muffins. These are moist, fluffy, and buttery, and you don't need a mix at all to make these. First, we're gonna make our vegan buttermilk. I use soy milk and vinegar. Mix that together and set it aside. This is gonna give our muffins an incredible crumb and the best flavor. While that curdles, let's mix our dry ingredients. I use a mix of spelt flour and all-purpose flour, as well as our baking powder or baking soda and our sea salt. Be sure to sift everything together to help aerate the flour and for the best texture and rise. I almost forgot the star or cornmeal. I use fine-grained cornmeal, and be sure to sift that as well. To your vegan buttermilk from earlier, add your pumpkin puree as well as your vegan butter. Your pumpkin puree is going to be your egg replacer here, and your vegan butter is going to add buttery flavor and moisture. And our cane sugar and maple syrup are also going to add moisture and some sweetness. I'm a sweet cornbread girl, but these are not too sweet, they're just the right amount. Whisk your wet ingredients together and let's combine it with our dry. With the help of my sous chef, mix until just combined. You definitely do not want to overmix this at all. Overmixing your cornbread will overwork gluten, resulting in dry cornbread. We want moist and fluffy cornbread here. Alright, let's pour our cornbread equally into our greased muffin pan, and while I always add chopped jalapenos and jalapeno slices on top, I only did half here since I'm serving them to kids, so definitely do that as well if you are. You could also add in some pieces of corn or even some vegan cheese. Then pop them into the oven. These came out incredibly fluffy and moist, and just so you know, you're definitely gonna have one before it's time to serve them. They are very freezer friendly, so you could even make these ahead of time. They'll taste just as good, and that email guide is gonna have all the tips for you on how to freeze, how to store, so be sure to check that out again in the description box. Let's jump right into our main dish, or vegan meatloaf. Not only is it low stress, it's also budget friendly. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do before we start anything else is we're gonna make our flax eggs so that it has enough time to set up. This is gonna hold our loaf together. It gets the beautiful gelatinous texture. We're just gonna pop it in the fridge for until we need it. Then we're gonna make our glaze and just set it aside. You can probably do this while your oven is preheating with some tomato paste, your vinegar, as well as your maple syrup or your agave, plus a pinch of sea salt. Whisk that together and put it aside until we need it. Next, we're gonna work on our filling, starting with prepping our onions and celery. You can also chop these in a mini food processor to save time. You don't need them super small since we're gonna be pulsing them in our food processor later. Mince your garlic, and then we're gonna saute our onion and celery in some oil to release so much flavor. And then you're gonna add your garlic after. You always want to add your garlic after to protect it from burning. We're gonna remove that, add it to our bowl with our proteins or cooked chickpeas or cooked lentils, along with some flavorings or Worcestershire sauce. Make sure that yours is vegan, or you can just use soy sauce, our breadcrumbs, as well as our black pepper and our sea salt. By now, our flax eggs would have been set, so we're going to add it into our mix. It's going to hold everything together, very gelatinous. Then the last of our flavor boosters are tomato paste, as well as some fresh thyme. Highly recommend fresh thyme if you can find it. Stir everything together. I find this really helps combine the liquid ingredients with the wet before we just pulse it in our food processor. About 10 pulses. You don't want to do too much because we don't want it to be a paste. Transfer that to your lined loaf pan, and you're just going to want to just make sure that you just get it nice and smooth. Onto this, we're going to add our glaze from earlier, and feel free to double this glaze, by the way. And then you are just going to pop this bad boy into the oven to bake. I usually do mine for the full amount of time, and then you're just going to let your loaf cool for about 10 minutes before you slice and enjoy it. The flavors come together so beautifully for the perfect plant-based lentil loaf. I've been making this for like 10 years now. Highly recommend. This one pot mac and cheese is the post I am most excited about. Look at that creaminess, and it is so easy to make. First, let's start by prepping our flavor base. Finally dice your onions, and if you have one of these food processors, just pull it out to save time. Then in some oil, we're going to saute our onions to extract a lot of great flavor for our mac and cheese. Then let's start making our roux by adding in our butter as well as our flour and tapioca starch, which is going to give it that gooey stretch we want in our cheese. Garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika are non-negotiables for me. They impart so much flavor, and you're just going to want to whisk all of that together to cook our flours and toast our seasonings a bit as well. Now we build on our sauce, adding in our plant-based milk, whisking as we're adding it to prevent any lumps, and then we're going to add in our powdered mustard. It's an emulsifier. It's going to help to keep our sauce solid and smooth, as well as our Elba macaroni and our black pepper and our sea salt. We're going to simmer our sauce until the pasta is fully cooked, and then we're going to stir in our cheeses. I find that breaking out the vegan cheeses by hand, knife or food processor gives it a way better melt. Look at that beautiful melt. This is so creamy and delicious. Now you can definitely stop here, but I love baked mac and cheese. So if you're like me, mix your seasoned breadcrumbs and vegan butter together until it's almost like coarse sand. Add a bit more cheese on top, your vegan Parmesan cheese, then your breadcrumbs, and then you're going to bake everything until it just starts to come together. And this is the definition of cheesy, creamy mac and cheese comfort heaven. You can really see how that tapioca starch worked over time to give it that nice cheese pull and creaminess. Highly recommend this one. My family ate this very quickly. These caramelized maple Brussels sprouts with apples and onions are basically a warm hug of sweet, salty, and toasty flavors. You're gonna start by cleaning and prepping your Brussels sprouts. I wash mine thoroughly and dry them, and then I remove the outer skins that have the most dirt. Then you're also gonna cut off the hard ends, and then you're gonna also cut your sprouts in half. Set that aside and start prepping your apples by cutting them into medium to large chunks, as well as your onion to prevent them from burning. We want that nice large size. Then you're gonna mix and prep your quick dressing of olive oil, agave, sea salt, and black pepper, and then you're gonna drizzle it all over your veggies. Add it all to my baking sheet and mix it together there, placing your sprouts cut side down so that they caramelize beautifully. And you just want to make sure that all of your veg is coated, especially in the olive oil, so that it doesn't burn and it just also cooks evenly. Add some fresh thyme on top, or if you have rosemary, you can add fresh rosemary instead, and then you're going to roast it in your oven. While that's roasting, and this step is optional, you can toast your pecans. I slightly caramelized mine here, but just regular toasted, then chopped pecans also work perfectly fine. When your veggies are finished, and look at that beautiful caramelization, add your nuts and some vegan feta, and you can gently toss it or just serve beautifully as is. Beautiful, easy, so delicious, and double this recipe if you're a Brussels sprouts lover like I am. Our last recipe of this video is a perfect recipe to end it on, a salad, my apple pecan and feta salad. I wanted 2 recipes that reuse some ingredients to keep costs down, and this salad is unbelievably easy. So we're gonna start by slicing up our apples. You could also use pears here. And then you're gonna chop your pecans, and of course you can use any nut here, like chopped walnuts or just pretty much anything you have in your house. Then you're gonna set these aside with your dried cranberries and quickly whip up your dressing of maple syrup, your apple cider vinegar, your olive oil, your black pepper, as well as your sea salt. You're gonna whisk all of this together, and then we're gonna start building our salad. This recipe makes a lot of dressing, so I did go in and double the greens after I shot this. But yeah, then just arrange everything beautifully and top it with your vegan feta, drizzle on your dressing, and just toss everything together gently. I have been making this salad for over 10 years, and let me tell you something, it never fails. The flavors work so well together, and it just perfectly accompanies any single meal. That's it, friends, and I hope these recipes were truly helpful, and this is our beautiful spread. I enjoyed filming and eating these so much, so be sure to stay tuned for my taste test of all of them and where to get all of these free recipes. Plus next week I will be sharing these 2 easy and stress-free desserts. This is just a quick preview of what you're going to be seeing, so be sure to check out that video as well.
All right, kids, we have our plate. Very excited for this. Let's be real, I'm most excited for the mac and cheese. I have not made this mac and cheese in quite some time. Nice, beautiful, full plate. Again, I'm gonna have a guide, and actually every blog post as well will let you know, can you prep this ahead, but you can prep everything ahead. Let's start with the lentil loaf. Let me get some of the glaze in it actually. I'm a fan of that. See if I can get a shot. Let's test the salad next. So good. Let's do our cornbread muffins. Okay, I'm back. Nice, fluffy, moist, spicy. You can definitely do it without the jalapenos if you want. I love it this way, but yeah, absolutely delicious. Brussels sprouts, apples and onions. I love Brussels sprouts, so I already knew I was gonna love this. I've also made this a million times, but yeah, so good. Let me get a piece with the pecan. It's good. Our mac and cheese, delicious, creamy goodness. Oh my gosh. Who am I kidding? I've tasted this like 400 times tonight. So good. And I also already gave Sammy her portion, so I had to taste it to make sure it was cool enough. Absolutely delicious. That's definitely my favorite thing on the plate, not gonna lie. I hope that this video was so helpful. I have wanted to do this for years, so I was like, this is the year, we're gonna just do it. And to be honest with you, I had so much fun. I really wanted to ensure that you had everything in one video, so that if you wanted to make everything, if you want to make one, you could get just all your ideas together. Definitely check out the description box for that email guide for everything. It's gonna give you tips, guidelines, all of the links like in one place for all of these recipes. And I hope that you enjoy your Thanksgiving meal. I hope that you have a great time with your loved ones, with your family, with yourself, however you plan to spend it, and just enjoy having good food. That is my cue from my daughter. Thank you again for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.